I want to talk about the real reality of building an agency. So I had a lot of people from the last video ask what it's like to run an agency and what it means to run an agency, and particularly a lovable agency. And this is unscripted again, but I wanted to kind of share like my experience building an agency and some of the lessons that I've taken that I can pass along to you as you start your journey. The first thing I'll say is that building an agency is incredibly lonely. It's probably one of the loneliest and hardest businesses you can start. Agencies are notoriously hard because you're constantly dealing with clients, you're constantly dealing with changing markets. You're not able to raise millions of dollars in venture capital like a lot of startups are. It usually requires even a year or two just to see some minute success, just to continue to grind it out for a few years to come. But what I will say about agencies is they are kind of rewarding in a weird way. Because if you're able to build a successful agency, it's one of the most beautiful businesses you can run. Now, one of the things about agencies is that you're required to make money from day one or else the business fails. But one of the good things about this is that once you do cross that threshold of being able to pay your people, hit salaries on time, pay yourself, you end up with a business that is not reliant on any external factors. It's not reliant on investors or people telling you what to do. You can wake up in the morning and decide how you want to spend your day. And I think that's probably the most rewarding thing about running a business, is when you're able to actually let the business work for you rather than the other way around. And that's one of the things I've been able to do with my agency. It's one thing to be able to build an agency that does $1 million. It's another thing to build an agency that does multi-million dollars while not needing to run it yourself. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what that's meant and some of my experiences on how to actually reach that point. The biggest thing that I will say about a business and agencies in particular is that you really realize what true business fundamentals is about. And business fundamentals is about 2-3 main things, okay? The first is cash flow, profit, expenses, revenue, making sure that your business actually, I know this is shocking, makes more money than it spends. This is pretty foundational to any business, but I think in the era of technology, when you're able to raise millions of dollars and burn even more, it becomes something that you actually need to, mention and bring up. The second, and probably the most important thing, is you have people. People are the backbone of any business, but that's even more so true with agencies, because agencies at the end of the day are just a collection of humans doing work. And if those humans aren't high quality, then your clients aren't going to be happy. Where in software, you have layers in place. You have software engineers, you have managers of managers. You have kind of a layer where maybe some of the bad talent can kind of get washed away. But in an agency, every person matters. Every person interacting with clients, every person's interacting with the work itself. And so it's critical that everybody on the team is playing their part. And the last thing is process and operations. Agencies fundamentally are about how you get people to move as a machine, a synchronized machine. And so once you find the good people, you need to make sure they're operating in a way that has process, that has a pattern. These 3 things are the pillars to every business, but I think that agency strips away all the extra fat. It strips away needing to find product market fit. It strips away having to grow in some kind of viral way. It strips away raising money. It strips away a lot of other factors that most businesses also require to be successful. Now, obviously, everything has a trade-off, but for me, that was something that I was willing to trade. I was willing to trade some of the short-term painful process you go through to get the thing moving for the long term of having a life that's more free, being able to, take time off when I need to, and ultimately having a business that is growing and is sustainable long term. The other thing that agencies teach you about is client success, client experience. I think client experience is one of the main reasons why this is, because again, with startups, each customer, each user of your product is a number on a screen. it's hard to truly understand what 10,000, 100,000, a million users actually looks like. But with an agency, if you have 100 clients or 50 clients or 20 clients, you interact with them every single day. They are in your face whether you like them or not. So you have to learn how to deal with people that are difficult. You have to learn how to mold to people's processes and ways of thinking and communication styles that are probably going to be different than yours. And it forces you to adapt on the fly. Now, it's one of the things that also makes the agencies incredibly challenging, but it's foundational to building a business, is understanding your customer, understanding client success, and understanding how to deliver a great product and a great experience regardless of how you feel about them. The next thing about agencies that you learn is that being niche is actually your superpower. Now, in a world where agencies exist on every corner, you have marketing agencies, you have social media agencies, you have content agencies, you have development agencies, you have all these different types of agencies. If you read the book Blue Ocean Strategy, which is a great book that I recommend, you would know that in a market that is a red market, a red ocean, you want to look for the blue ocean strategies. And what a blue ocean is a segment of the market that is underserved, some way that you can position yourself differently where other competitors are not. And so that's where niching down really becomes the secret. There's a lot of agencies that are good at a lot of things, but there are very few agencies that are great at one or two. And so you want to be the agency that's great at one thing, because it will give you a competitive edge when it comes to competing against those other agencies that are just good enough. And the last thing I will say is that hard work plus patience equals luck. I know people think that luck is some made up concept that, is coincidental and don't have much control over it. But in my experience, that's actually not true. The fact of the matter is, if you take 100 shots on net, you are 100 times more likely to get lucky than the person that took one shot on that. Maybe one of those shots slips off your wrist weirdly and it hits exactly where you want it to go. That's not going to happen if you only take one shot. The point is that businesses, agencies teach you the key to being patient. The key that this narrative that you wake up with an overnight success is just frankly not true. These are hard businesses that are grindy and take months, if not years, to build. But anything good is built over time and takes a while to be built. So I think that this is a great place to start to learn the idea of patience and to learn the idea that things may not come the way you want them at the time you want them, but that's okay. This was a bit of a ramble. I'm not sure where I went with this one. Hopefully it's somewhat valuable. So if you liked everything, I would appreciate if you gave this video a like and hit the subscribe button. This was completely unscripted, but I want to share some of my raw thoughts. Until next time, I'll see you then.